Multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children. Multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children is a post-COVID inflammatory state due to a dysregulated host response. The first alert came in April 2020 when a group of clinicians from UK identified a cohort of children presenting with hyperinflammatory shock-like state mimicking incomplete Kawasaki disease or a toxic shock syndrome-like presentation in children. Since then, this syndrome has been given different names across the medical community, such as multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children, pediatric inflammatory multisystem syndrome temporally associated with SARS-CoV-2 infection, SARS-CoV-2 induced Kawasaki-like hyperinflammatory syndrome, Kawa-COVID, and many others. MIS-C is known to occur usually 3 to 4 weeks following the SARS-CoV-2 infection. This graph clearly demonstrates the increase in the cases of MIS-C almost a month after the increase in COVID cases. The median interval is about 27 days from the peak to the onset of MIS-C. Lag period in most studies is about 3 to 6 weeks. Thus, MIS-C represents a post-infectious complication rather than an acute infection. The incidence of lab-confirmed SARS-CoV-2 infection in children is about 322 per 100,000 patients. The incidence of MIS-C is about 0.1 to 0.6%. MIS-C can occur at all age groups, however, it has been commonly reported in 6 to 12-year age group. Majority of the cases occur in older children and adolescents who were previously normal. There is an increased predisposition among Blacks and Hispanic children and among obese children. Whether there is a genetic predisposition to MIS-C remains to be proved. Pathophysiologically, this syndrome results from an abnormal immune response to the virus, resulting in a cytokine release syndrome quite similar to Kawasaki disease and macrophage activation syndrome. Almost 60% of these patients are positive for SARS-CoV-2 antibody by serology and are negative for SARS-CoV-2 antigen. 30% may be positive for both antibody as well as antigen, and 10% are negative for both antibody and antigen. MIS-C could be related to a post-infectious autoimmune phenomenon due to molecular mimicry or a dysregulated host response to chronic SARS-CoV-2 exposure. Whether there is a genetic predisposition causing MIS-C in a particular individual needs to be elucidated further. On exposure to the SARS-CoV-2 infection after a period of 3 to 6 weeks, either persistent antigenemia or immune complexes may result in multi-organ dysfunction. These antigens may act as superantigens similar to toxic shock syndrome and trigger an inflammatory cascade in a particular individual. Studies have shown that both innate and adaptive immune responses are dysregulated during MIS-C. The monocytes and dendritic cells are decreased in number, there is an increased plasmablast, and the T cells are decreased in number but are activated excessively. Also, the other immune system components like SARS-CoV-2 specific antibodies may be in normal quantity and exhibit normal neutralization. There are also variety of autoantibodies that are detected, but no single autoantibody is confirmed across the studies. Cytokines such as interferon gamma, IL-10, TNF-alpha, and a myriad of other cytokines are also increased in MIS-C. Proteomic studies have also demonstrated an increase in PLA2G2A in patients with MIS-C. A delayed interferon response is observed in severe COVID infection, including MIS-C, where there is slow viral clearance with exaggerated inflammation. Certain non-neutralizing or sub-neutralizing antibodies due to prior infection may facilitate the viral entry through Fc gamma receptors or complement-mediated pathways, leading on to antibody-dependent enhancement. This phenomenon is known to occur in macrophage trophic viruses like dengue, as well as in non-macrophage trophic viruses like RSV and measles. They lead to secretion of pro-inflammatory cytokines, immune cell recruitment, and activation of complement cascade, resulting in end organ damage. Also, the underlying genetic susceptibility to multisystem inflammatory syndrome is increasingly being recognized, with a lot of monogenic variants being implicated in susceptibility to MIS-C. MIS-C, as the name suggests, is a multisystem illness. The common clinical features include persistent fever, rash, conjunctivitis, mucous membrane involvement, and swelling of limbs. Cardiovascular complications commonly seen in MIS-C include presentation as heart failure or shock, which may be related to myocarditis. There can be variable degrees of pericarditis and myocardial dysfunction evidenced by echocardiography or by elevation in cardiac biomarkers such as troponin or brain natriuretic peptide. Arrhythmias are also commonly known to occur in MIS-C. Gastrointestinal manifestations are common in MIS-C. They may include nausea and vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and hepatitis and variable degrees of serositis. MIS-C can also present as acute respiratory failure in varied severities of ARDS. The neurological manifestations may include encephalopathy, seizures, meningoencephalitis, stroke, and demyelination. There are certain clinical features that can differentiate MIS-C from other common febrile illnesses. MIS-C tend to have a greater median temperature when compared to other febrile illnesses. Also, the presence of abdominal pain, neck pain, conjunctivitis, oral mucosal irritation, extremity swelling, or a generalized rash are favorable pointers towards the diagnosis of MIS-C. MIS-C also has been associated with a lower absolute lymphocyte count, a lower platelet count, and a greater increase in CRP. Being a new disease entity, different health organizations have given criteria for defining MIS-C. The three common criteria that are followed are the RCPCH, CDC, and the WHO. The WHO clinical case definition include any child of age 0 and 19 years who presents with fever for more than 3 days with clinical signs of multisystem involvement with at least two of the following in the form of rash, which is bilateral non-purulent conjunctivitis or mucocutaneous inflammation, hypotension or shock, cardiac dysfunction, pericarditis, valvulitis or coronary abnormalities, evidence of coagulopathy, or acute GI involvement. There should be elevated markers of inflammation with either rise in CRP, ESR or procalcitonin. There should not be any other obvious microbial cause of inflammation, and there should be recent or current SARS-CoV-2 infection or exposure. Kawasaki disease is a common differential diagnosis to MIS-C. There are several similar features such as fever, rash, conjunctivitis, cardiac involvement, and elevation of inflammatory markers. While the median age of presentation of MIS-C is about 9 to 10 years, Kawasaki occurs in younger children with a median age group of 2 to 3 years. There is a median of 4 weeks after acute COVID infection for MIS-C, whereas Kawasaki disease peaks in winter and spring in temperate climates. Certain clinical features such as oral mucous membrane changes, conjunctival injection, rash, and extremity changes such as peeling are common in Kawasaki disease, while gastrointestinal symptoms, presence of rash, and cardiovascular symptoms with predominance of shock is common in MIS-C. While MIS-C is characterized by marked lymphopenia and thrombocytopenia, these are usually rare in Kawasaki disease. Both conditions are characterized by extremely high acute phase reactants. The other common differential is toxic shock syndrome, where older children have a PIMS-TS-like presentation but are characterized by diffuse erythema, and usually an infective focus of staph or strep aureus may be identified. They are characterized by a polymorphonuclear response, and inflammatory markers are not that elevated like MIS-C or Kawasaki disease. Bacterial sepsis, including appendicitis, urinary tract infection, other viral infections like EBV, CMV, adenoviral, Coxsackie, tropical fevers like dengue, enteric, malaria, and scrub typhus, hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis or MAS can closely mimic MIS-C. Other vasculitic conditions of children should also be considered in the differential diagnosis for MIS-C. The severity of presentation may vary in children. Majority have acute COVID-19 without exaggerated immune response, where the children have no or mild symptoms. In a few, a febrile inflammatory state characterized by persistent fever with elevated inflammatory markers may be seen. A Kawasaki disease-like illness where children meet incomplete or complete KD have also been seen. In extreme cases, the full clinical picture of MIS-C occur where there is marked elevation of inflammatory markers with multisystem involvement with predominance of cardiac involvement. Studies are ongoing on biomarkers that predict the severity of MIS-C in these patients. Evidence is still evolving on this aspect. Any child who presents with unremitting fever, epidemiological link to SARS-CoV-2 infection, and clinical features suggestive of MIS-C should be evaluated for suspected MIS-C. If these features are absent, then we need to evaluate for alternative diagnosis. If they are present, and if there are any shock or life-threatening manifestations, then these children need to be evaluated simultaneously with Tier 1 and Tier 2 investigations. If not, first the Tier 1 evaluation is carried out, and if positive, Tier 2 evaluation is carried out. If Tier 1 evaluation is negative, again we need to evaluate for alternate diagnosis and monitor for features of MIS-C. The Tier 1 or the screening evaluation include a complete blood count, complete metabolic profile which include liver function test, renal function test, blood gas and glucose, CRP with or without ESR, COVID serology or PCR. Tier 1 investigation is considered positive if CRP is more than 5 mg per deciliter or ESR is more than 40 mm per hour with at least one of the following, which include neutrophilia, absolute lymphopenia of less than 1000, thrombocytopenia, hyponatremia or hypoalbuminemia. Those who are positive for Tier 1 investigations need to be evaluated with Tier 2 investigations, which include inflammatory markers like procalcitonin, coagulation profile, LDH, triglyceride, and in centers where available, IL-6 may also be used. Cardiac specific investigations like ECG, echocardiogram, brain natriuretic peptide or troponin T also need to be done. In settings where tropical infections are likely, these investigations also need to be screened. Echocardiography may reveal depressed LV function in about 30 to 40% of children. Coronary artery abnormalities, including dilatation or aneurysm, are seen in about 10% of these children. Other common findings may include mitral valve regurgitation and pericardial effusion. Milder forms of MIS-C may be managed conservatively with clinical monitoring for worsening to severe stages. The laboratory parameters are repeated every 48 to 72 hours and is very important to rule out alternative diagnosis. If there is no improvement or worsening, IV or oral methylprednisolone may be started. In those presenting with moderate illness, after ruling out tropical infection, steroid or IVIG may be used as first-line therapy. In those who present with shock or life-threatening disease, simultaneously steroid and IVIG are initiated, along with good antimicrobial cover. Evidence is still evolving on the first-line agent comparing IVIG versus steroids. However, studies have demonstrated a combination of IVIG and steroid to be better than IVIG alone. The combination of IVIG and steroid was associated with a lower risk of cardiovascular dysfunction, lower incidence of shock requiring vasopressors, and lower use of adjunctive therapy. Cardiovascular dysfunction need to be appropriately managed in an intensive care setting. Fluid boluses and inotropy may be needed during resuscitation of these children. Severe LV dysfunction may need addition of milrinone to improve the cardiac function. Respiratory support, either non-invasively or invasive ventilation, may be needed based on the severity of respiratory involvement. Other organ-specific support like liver and renal may also be needed in a small proportion of children. Non-responders may need high dose of pulse glucocorticoids in the dose range of 10 to 30 mg per kg per day. In those who are refractory to first-line treatment, other immunomodulators like anakinra, tocilizumab, or infliximab may be tried. MIS-C can present with signs and symptoms that mimic those of septic shock and toxic shock syndrome. Empirical antimicrobial should be considered in cases with shock or multi-organ dysfunction syndrome. Clindamycin may be added if there is feature which is consistent with toxin-mediated illness. Antibiotics can be discontinued once MIS-C is confirmed and blood cultures are sterile. Aspirin needs to be started in all patients of MIS-C unless the platelet count is less than 80,000 or if there is a bleeding diathesis. Anticoagulation with enoxaparin is indicated if there is coronary aneurysm with a Z-score of more than 10, established thrombosis, a LV ejection fraction of less than 35%, with a target factor 10A level of 0.5 to 1. Enoxaparin prophylaxis may be given on an individual basis in severe MIS-C with obesity, those who are mechanically ventilated, or those with indwelling catheters for a longer period. All children need to be reassessed clinically as well as by laboratory in order to decide on weaning medications. If there is minimal or no improvement, then escalation of treatment with second dose IVIG may be needed. Recovery is characterized by defervescence of fever. ESR may be fallacious, especially after IVIG infusion. Complete blood panel and CRP may take time to normalize during recovery. While monitoring for cardiac dysfunction, ECG needs to be repeated 48 hourly and echo needs to be done every 7 to 14 days and after 4 to 6 weeks. Cardiac MRI at 2 to 6 months may be done in cases where the initial ejection fraction was less than 50%. It helps in myocardial characterization, including functional assessment. Cardiac CT may be useful if there are distal coronary aneurysms. The overall reported mortality in MIS-C is around 2%. Mild MIS-C has excellent outcome. The LV ejection fraction normalizes in 90% of cases by day 30 and in almost 99% of cases by day 90. The recovery is not affected by the initial severity of LV dysfunction. Coronary aneurysms also show a good pattern of recovery with early and adequate immunotherapy. In summary, high index of suspicion is needed to diagnose MIS-C. Early recognition is the key to good prognosis. Immunosuppressants with supportive care is the mainstay of therapy. Close follow-up is needed post-discharge. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe us and follow us for more updates.